All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another sunny Sunday. After one great I am awakening. I'm Chris Taylor, one of your hosts, and with me is my partner in spirit and in mind, Sir Gregory Isaac Thomas, aka Sir T. How you stay, big brother?
Yeah, am I being heard now? Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh, yep. Things are wild for everyone out there, Kind of year in between assignments, in between some housework and some of the, you know, we have to give observance to the consciousness and to the conscious mind. So, hold on one second. I'm on the clock. Yeah, yes, again. Sorry for the disturbance. But
No worries, man. No worries.
one more time, we are here to explore and to remember, as you mentioned in the topic headline. And we are here again to deny the reality, evidence of the
Mhm.
fact, and to absorb, accept what we see within consciousness, what we desire. We are here to change the desire into a feeling of gratitude. The thing that you desire, rather than having a desire, just have some gratitude. Have some gratitude for the mere fact that the thing has entered your consciousness.
Mm.
That gratitude for it that brings it closer to you until you can feel it. Once you feel it, it's done. And you will feel it before it actually shows physically. You will catch the feeling of it. You know what it feels like when something good is going on. It would be like a man here saying, when you like yourself. You read the ticket, the number, then call, and you sit on you.
Hmm.
That's sending a man, you think. But you catch the feeling that come over him. That's what I'm talking about. You can catch the feeling for a thing before it physically appears to you.
Yeah.
That's what we are here to, to exercise and to remember it together. We're just remembering it. We know it already. We know it. We knew it before we crossed the water. The cross the water is the last way, but we are here to wake up and remember together.
Mm.
All we can do, we can just hint a person. That's why this is not religion. This is not religion, Christianity where you force onto a person. No. You introduce it to a person and you see how they receive it.
Mm.
Because this is a precious gift. This is the pearl that you can make cast in the face. Now the religious book tell us you don't cast the pearl into a swine. This is a pearl that you don't cast the swine.
Mm.
So when you go into a city with this message here, and whosoever receives it, the peace fall upon that house and you dwell there. Who don't receive it, you dust off of your foot. Meaning, that person is now going to have to come to you. You are never returning to them with that message. They're going to have to come to you. And I'm talking somebody who's totally rejects the message.
Hmm.
Yeah, you walk away, you dust your feet off. That's what it doesn't mean. It means it's going to turn into an argument, and this is not something that you argue about. You only argue about things that you're unsure of. You don't argue about things that you're sure of.
Hmm.
You ever sit down in an exam or do an exam, let's say a multiple choice exam, and here comes your four options. And immediately, as soon as you recognize the question, as soon as you see the question, before you even look at the option, you already know what the answer is. And down you look A, B, C, there it is at C. You
Yeah.
already knew. You must
Hmm.
argue with yourself and back and forth with yourself on that question, then you have other questions to move on to.
Yeah.
You're back to yourself on things where you're not sure. But when you're
Hmm.
sure, because keep in mind that the man where you're back and forth with about the religion and about the significance is really yourself. So you don't back and forth to yourself on things that you're sure. You move on.
Yeah.
You're gonna come up on another self. There are many versions of yourself out there. You're gonna come up on another self that receives it gladly. So you don't waste time and effort and argue this reality with a one child. This is not something that you try. This is something that you are and try to do something. You just found out who you are and your being.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said, who cares if nobody believes once the thing has proven itself in evidence to you? The religion is a grand rising, is a mass rising because of the whole financial benefits to come with it. They crave a mass and a grand following and a mass rising. Good for them. But this thing you have to know is not a mass awakening. One by one, you have to wake up. You know, come down here and find 250 people, 250 people get saved in a one person one night. No, I'm not saying that at a time.
Yeah.
Just like you appeared on this earth, you're one at a time, even if you are an identical twin. You will never come together. One at a time. And when you leave one at a time. And when you wake up and remember, you wake up and one at a time. Perfect.
One by one. Yeah, man, that's a tune right there, you know?
One, here.
One by one. All right. Okay. That's the only way we can do things is one at a time. And in all things, including waking up from this matrix, from the sleep. We all wake up one at a time. And once we wake up, we spread the word, we give it reverence and we put it out there to the ears that are listening. What scripture say? He who has ear, let him hear. You understand? It means just basically who is ready to receive the message will receive it, and the ones who will not, it will fall on deaf ears. But it's okay because we were deaf at one time too. You understand? We were deaf at one time too, but we always had the question, and when the answer showed itself, we responded. And here we are today, doing the very same thing to those who are asking the question: Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Why am I here? And where do I go after I leave this place? That is the greatest fear. Fear not. You only go back to where you came from. When you leave your house at in the day or in the morning, you always go back to the same place where you left. You're not lost. You don't find yourself somewhere else at
Circular,
another.
circular, circular dimension, man. The
Yeah.
earth started, it has to end up back right here it started.
Hmm.
You
Right
know?
where it started, because it has no beginning, no end. So it's just going round and round and round. It always have to go back to point of origin. You understand?
Once a man, boy, is a guy. I'm seeing it with my father, right? 87 years.
Hmm.
Big, strong man, 6'5". The man was a giant, a lion. So the man come down to be a
Right
baby.
back to where he began, ain't it?
How do you start as a baby and end up back as a baby when you never turned back? You never turned 86 and then turn back become
Backwards.
no.
Yeah.
He keeps going higher in age, but he's becoming a baby again.
Again,
So
yeah.
only a circle can do that. Only a circle you can start somewhere, end up back where you started, and at no point you did not turn around. You didn't turn back. You go around in a full circle.
You
That's what
cannot
life
miss it. You cannot
is.
miss it.
That's what
No, you cannot miss it. Perfect analogy, Sir T. Yes. We all are destined are on that journey of return to origin. And the same thing is in consciousness as we're speaking here. That is a physical element or aspect of it. But in the conscious format, the psychological or the spiritual, we're always spirit. And we must return as spirit to spirit. You cannot go back to anything other than where you came from or where you began. You understand? That is a great conundrum that has, confused many, or mankind in general. But we have evidence of it, but we weren't paying attention because we had a different expectation. But once you know, it does not matter what someone else says. There's no need to argue with that person or persons, or even with yourself anymore because you've now come to the realization that you have always been. You just didn't remember, you know. As the story goes, you found yourself in a strange place. That strange place was your mother's womb, Egypt. And once you crossed the water, the Red Sea, that is you exiting the womb, you found yourself in confusion, the wilderness, the world. You understand?
Found, your,
Asking, wondering.
found yourself in a strange place, found some water in a basket like Moses, the baby. That's happening now. You found yourself in
Hmm.
a home in a cradle, which is that sack that you're in with the amniotic fluid. You look up
Hmm.
it. Just like Moses, the baby was placed on the river in a basket. You find yourself in a strange place.
And
And
Is that Egyptian pull him out?
it's an Egyptian story. The whole story is an Egyptian story. It's not something that happened. It's an Egyptian tale
Hmm.
that story of you. So now we
Hmm.
have to cross the Red Sea, and the Red Sea has to stop in order for you to cross the Red Sea being your mother's natural red cycle that comes and that will stop happening in order for you to cross over the Red Sea. And you cross over and you find yourself in a place now and you don't know where you're there. You've lost your way. You are complete. Anybody go through that happens, you can't remember who you are. You just
Hmm.
find yourself in a thing and then you cross over that thing and another thing and you don't know where you are. Now you have to go wake up and remember. And that's a journey.
Yeah. And a child does not have any control of their consciousness to remember at that point. You understand?
And
But
we
you
would have
come to a time.
remembered a long time if we weren't indoctrinated with another thing. So your attention was focused towards another thing. So there was no way you're going to remember what
Yeah,
you
there had to be a distraction, had to be something that took away your focus from the eternal question you ask yourself once you start to have sense, where am I? Who am I? These are questions you were asking yourself, when you came into this world. But you got distracted with, the matrix, the worldly stuff. But it had to happen in order for you to have an experience
Circus,
outside of the Garden of Eden. You understand?
circus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to ask myself that question there to the point that when I time it I afraid of myself.
Mm.
As a little youth, I thought about maybe eight, maybe 8 years old when I start really start come into my own. We can think patterns for myself now rather than because at 4, 5, 6 you're only parroting what other people place in your hands. You can't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Once I started to be able to think out the whole thing for myself and I start wonder, who am I? Who am I? And you have group of country and they tell about ducky and everything. And I say, I wonder if me a ducky. I wonder if me say that. And that's so much me I question myself, who am I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
From a little youth, me just know say there has to be an element to this thing beyond just like a man where I walk on yourself. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never felt like I was I, I tell you already so when I start school, the man my first year of man in time is easy alien grade.
Yeah.
As an alien in high school, brother. Strange. Just not feel like something me fit
Yeah,
in
it didn't
that.
fit. Yeah, it didn't fit. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how you
that
know.
asking brother, we've been asking this question, brother.
Mm-hmm. And we've now found the answer and we've tested it, proven it to ourselves, you know, and it worked over and over, time and time again, without fail. You understand? And now we're just presenting it to the world. So for those of you who are seeing this for the first time, seeing the one great I am awakening for the first time, you are in for a great awakening. You understand? Because we were where you are right now, and you never reach. You are always ascending, always journeying or sojourning, as the Bible would say, as they sojourn, through the wilderness. You're always in some form of forgetfulness, and you're ever remembering reconnecting with the great source, who you've always been and who you are. You understand?
Always circling circles. Feel like the children of Israel going around the wilderness 40 years, just
Yeah.
circling.
Let me tell you. Circling,
No matter what level of awakening you get to,
you're
you're
always circling.
you're still a deeper depth, a higher
Yeah.
standing.
It's certainly look at even our music, the record, you know,
Anyway,
the
round and
vinyl, round
round.
and round, the CD.
Yeah, man.
Imagine that on a disc
Yeah,
telling you.
man. Look on the sun, look on it, look on the sun, look on the moon, look on the
Hmm.
look on everything now around, brother. And
Hmm.
the only way, I'm not sure the possibility, but round. They have all kind of figures, shapes. They all have their significance. Triangle,
Hmm.
a parallelogram, a rhombus, the strangest figures them where you can think of. They
Yeah.
all have significance. Because them all have to come round, 360. But you see, a circle, a thing that is round,
Hmm.
that is what gives the highest probability for all possibilities.
Hmm.
If I hear them saying a football game, in a soccer game, even if Brazil are play against Belfield, one like a district long Jamaica, there is still a percentage, possibility, a probability that Belfield can win that football game against Brazil. And
Yeah.
when they say ball around, anything, yeah, that's what there is a. All right, if you flip a coin, if you flip a coin, the coin, the coin, it can go either drop my head or tail. But if you throw up a soccer ball or a cricket ball or a tennis ball, wait out Japan. Who knows? Every possibility exists.
Yeah. What about no no? Any surface planet,
Any surface you can
you
fall.
understand? It's many. You understand? So the roundness give you so many probabilities and possibilities. And it is telling you right there that everything is within. You know, everything is circular. Everything is whatever is within it is also without. You understand? There's nothing that is um absent. Everything is always present within you.
Nothing, nothing missing. And that's why one of the most powerful things, if it's only one thing you say to yourself every minute, you don't have to say it verbally. Just keep
Mm.
reminding yourself that I lack nothing. I lack nothing. Nothing.
Mm.
Absolutely. Because everything is you and you are everything. You are part of that roundness. You the world can't exist without it. You see, these religious prayers will say, Lord, I come before you beseeching, I am nothing. You see, the prayer they have done nonsense in about that. Madman teach people to do this. I am nothing, so why you want to make it?
Yeah.
Nah, nothing. You don't lack anything. You are a part and a parcel with everything.
Hmm.
If you can convince yourself that you lack nothing, then even the thing where you would have feel that you lack, it's already on its way to you. Because you have recognized it, that you are it. So it has to come to you.
Then the Jesus story, that was what it was all about, you know. This man come around and say, I and my father are one. He never say, I am nothing. He said, I and the father are one. You
That's
understand? And him
everything.
said, how dare you make that claim that you are something? Because if for you to make yourself one with the father, you are saying that you are something. You are saying that you are, divine. You are saying that you are aware and all these different type of things. And that's what he got condemned for. And the same thing, people condemn us for saying or teaching what we teach because we are connecting the dots and becoming one with.
You notice the Christ character came and openly spoke that I and my father are one, which makes me everything. But you notice his demeanor and his operation in the earth, how humble he was, like I am nothing. He might do the servant, he might be the servant, he might go down and a watchman standing there. Yes, he has laid a claim that he's everything, but he's also showing you that he's also nothing. Because for
Mm-hmm.
you, everything at some point along that journey of being everything, you also have to be nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
An all encompassing thing. So it's an awareness when you realize that you are everything, you're also nothing. Nothing is a part of everything, and everything is a part of nothing. That's when you find that's where you can breathe easy and at peace
Mm-hmm.
or death. Don't be afraid of death or hell. There's nothing out here that is adverse to you. Everything comes from within you. If you are not here to be the witness, the observer, the aware of that thing, then what does it matter? You are the central figure. You
Yeah.
you are the engine, the brain. You are the transmitter, the receiver, all of that information and that awareness there. So what is the point of you being how great is Jesus if you're not there? How great is Jesus or God the Almighty or whoever? How great is any of that if you are not here to be the witness of
Mm-hmm.
it? You are the one deciding how great that thing is. You are the decider, then you must be greater than the thing you're deciding about.
You're the observer and the observer, no? The mirror.
Hmm.
You're the one observing yourself in the mirror. You understand? And you decide how you dress up that self that you're observing.
All have to just have to remember, say,
Mm-hmm.
start with you. It's all nothing is anything, nothing means nothing if you are not first the central figure in your world. It is your world.
Mm.
So just know that and go forward. Circus, whenever I say that.
Yes, yes, yes. So today we're going to play a never tape and another chapter from this book, 5 Lessons, the original masterclass, The Most Powerful Lessons of the Mind by Neville. All right. And this chapter is titled Remain Faithful to Your Idea. Okay, that's what Neville titled this chapter that he taught some time ago. And our title is To Deny the Five Senses. Okay, deny the five senses and only entertain what you are conscious of being. Okay, only see what you're conscious of being. Notice I say entertain, meaning to look within. Do not, what does the five senses do? The five senses are an outward um, thing that you use or measurement that you use for your surrounding. It only can measure what's out, not what's within. So you have to turn your consciousness inward and entertain what you are being, meaning that whatever you're being, what is that? It's a desire of some kind. You know what it is. Keep your focus only on that. As
You
you're going to
know,
hear in the video, it's going to tell you more and more of why you should. Yes, sir, T.
yeah, man, you're entertaining by letting it entertain you. Meaning be amused when you look within and
Mm,
desire unfolded within. The way you are entertaining it is by allowing it to entertain you, meaning that you're fully locked in like when you watch your favorite sport. When
mm,
you watch a basketball game and a winning time, you see it.
mm-hmm. The glue to it.
Yeah, man, fine. Your wife walk across your TV, man, you're not even see her, man, you grow on her. That's what I'm saying.
Your focus is locked in, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you have to be locked in when you watch that image, that film within. Now keep in mind when you're watching the film within, you're not just the observer. This is where you have to remember to be the observer and the observed. In other words, you are not just watching the film and being entertained. You are the actor acting. You have to see yourself doing all of it,
Mm-hmm.
feeling, doing all of it. You're watching yourself star in your own show that you have drawn. You are doing, and it's a release coming soon. Like how you, and you know it a come, no doubt.
Yeah.
So it's like how you see we upload a few for a
Mm-hmm.
channel,
Yeah.
and we know say it a come out tomorrow, no doubt.
Yes.
When you upload your thing because you just here entertaining yourself, and it's entertain you and you're uploading the thing. You know for a fact that it's coming. You can't get your bed and relax. That's how you pull these things there. You have to make sure that you are playing a part in the movie where you're not playing a part, playing the part.
Yeah. All the
And
parts.
yeah, but and you can involve other people too. You
Mm-hmm.
can I can hear in my imagination when I do my movies, I can hear Circus voice
Very
directing me.
clear. Mm-hmm.
I can hear Circus voice directing me, congratulating me, all of these things, making
You don't hear your voice, they hear my voice. And then you are the one conducting the scenery. Imagine that.
man, you can hear a dead man's voice, man. You can hear your dead grandmother voice. I tell you, proud of you.
I
When
hear it
you
right
are
now. Mm-hmm.
when you are exercising, your little shots. And on
Mm-hmm.
a long thing, and on a long movie, you try to you go fall back in the punch of mine and miss it. If you make it too long.
Yeah.
That to be it's like a little commercial in the middle of your soap opera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It has to be like a little short 20-second commercial, but it is
Mm-hmm.
all inclusive because you go all the way to the end with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Just that simple. All right, guys. So we're gonna go to the video slash audio with Neville. Let's hit the share button here and let me see. It's here, right here somewhere. Okay. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so this is from the book, The 5 Lessons. And again, this lesson is titled Remain Faithful to Your Idea or to Your Assumption. Never says it so many different ways. Remain faithful to your assumption, remain faithful to your idea. You understand? Remain faithful to your desire. And the best way to do that is to deny what your 5 senses are telling you or are showing you. So he's going to talk about 2 key stories in this book from the Bible, the Jesus character that was going around and showing you, you know, why you should not use your 5 senses to decide or to determine, your future or the outcome of your life. All right, so let's take a listen, and we're going to be back, momentarily to discuss what we find.
Lesson 5. Remain faithful to your ideas. Tonight we have the 5th and last lesson in this course. First, I shall give you a sort of summary of what has gone before. Then, since so many of you have asked me to elaborate further on lesson 3, I shall give you a few more ideas on thinking fourth dimensionally. I know that when a man sees a thing clearly, he can tell it. He can explain it. This past winter in Barbados, a fisherman whose vocabulary would not encompass 1,000 words, told me more in 5 minutes about the behavior of the dolphin than Shakespeare, with his vast vocabulary, could have told me if he did not know the habit of the dolphin. This fisherman told me how the dolphin loves to play on a piece of driftwood, and in order to catch him, you throw the wood out and bait him as you would bait children. because he likes to pretend he is getting out of the water. As I said, this man's vocabulary was very limited, but he knew his fish and he knew the sea. Because he knew his dolphin, he could tell me all about their habits and how to catch them. When you say you know a thing, but you cannot explain it, I say you do not know it. For when you really know it, you naturally express it. If I should ask you now to define prayer and say to you, how would you, through prayer, go about realizing an objective, any objective? If you can tell me, then you know it. But if you cannot tell me, then you do not know it. When you see it clearly in the mind's eye, the greater you will inspire the words which are necessary to clothe the idea and express it beautifully. And you'll express the idea far better than a man with a vast vocabulary who does not see it as clearly as you do. If you have listened carefully throughout the past 4 days, you know now that the Bible has no reference at all to any persons that ever existed or to any events that ever occurred upon earth. The authors of the Bible were not writing history. They were writing a great drama of the mind which they dressed up in the garb of history and then adapted it to the limited capacity of the uncritical, unthinking masses. You know that every story in the Bible is your story. That when the writers introduce dozens of characters in the same story, they're trying to present you with different attributes of the mind that you may employ. You saw it as I took perhaps a dozen or more stories and interpreted them for you. For instance, many people wonder how Jesus, the most gracious.
All right, so real quickly, this one is really to address anyone who may come across this video, this lesson from the One Great I Am Awakening. And the one key thing I want you to take away from that, the lesson that just started, was that the authors of the Bible were not writing history. Okay? The Bible has no reference at all to any persons that ever existed or to any events that ever occurred upon earth. All right? The authors of the Bible were just writing history, were not writing history. They were writing a great drama of the mind, which they dressed up in the garb of history and then adapted it to the limited capacity of the uncritical or unthinking masses. Okay? Every story in the Bible is about you. All the stories in the Bible are your story. Okay? And when the writers introduced dozens of characters in the same story, they are trying to present you with the different attributes of the mind that you may employ. In other words, all the characters are like in a movie written by the author. How many authors are there writing the movie or writing the book? Only one. But they have many different names in the book to tell the story. But where are the names coming from? They're coming from the author's mind. They are characteristics that he is employing or she is employing to write about, to convey the message. Okay? You are reading something that is in the Bible is the very same. All the names written or mentioned in the Bible never existed. No one of us has ever written or read a novel and wondered if these people existed. We know it's just a book. It's just a fiction. But it makes sense when talked about as if it was a historical event, because we can connect the dots with something that has happened or is happening and will become history at some point. So the best way to tell the story is to make it look as if it is history, but it is not to be mistaken as if it was history or that these things ever happened. The book is only talking about you, your mind, your awareness of being is all it's talking about. And every book, every names mentioned are characteristics that you can use or employ in your desire, in choosing your desire. Yes, sir, T.
Yes, sir, Chris. I'm sure we've come across people that they say have multiple personality. They
True.
it's all, we all have multiple personality.
Yeah.
We are most of us are able to keep them in order.
Mm-hmm.
First, we cannot manage their multiple personalities, have a multiple personality disorder.
Yes.
They
Hmm.
can manage the navigation of in and out of the personality. So we all have multiple personalities. This is why the Bible was written like that.
Mm.
The sages that wrote the Bible, they knew that we all have multiple personalities. It would be like you're trying to teach some students. Sometimes you have to use different analogies and different examples to different students so that they can assimilate what you're saying. What worked for one kid might not work for another one.
True.
Different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote the Bible like that. It's all these different personalities, all accomplishing in the same thing, using the same method, all of them, all these personalities. So what has happened over here now, though, is that religion, the church, got a hold of that and started teaching us that these personalities were persons. There's a person, the person with a multiple personality disorder is one person,
It's one person.
one person that has
Yeah.
multiple personalities.
Personalities. Yeah.
So there's a difference between person and personality.
Mm-hmm.
The characters mentioned in scripture, I'm talking from the God go straight down to the Satan, and
Just
everybody,
personalities, man.
these are all personalities. These are personalities, not persons. And these personalities are in and out of our consciousness, all of us. You've all had your Moses moment and your Jesus moment and your Satan. You read? So I saw that's something they work. We have to just be aware that when you come upon these characters, that's what they are. Characters in a story.
Yeah. Yeah, because like in a movie, 30, as you mentioned before, the only reason why we have multiple persons playing the the movie or playing the characters is so that we can show the different behaviors. You understand? So one person is acting as John, another person acting as Joseph, another person acting as Mary. You understand? And we have all these different characters, that are demonstrated by many persons. But it is not to be mistaken by the audience or the one watching that when the person wrote the movie, that he was using different people or persons to write about. They all were coming from his mind or her mind. He just employed people on the outside to play what he was playing on the inside. That's all, you
And
know.
just write the whole thing with all these characters. And then he
Mhm.
went out and found the character to play the
They
role of.
went for the characters, yeah.
And he could have used one man to play all role. We've seen it, he must be almost rich.
We've seen that. Yes, we've seen Eddie Murphy done that to show you, as we were saying, yeah, that's true, Sir T. You know. But think about this, Sir T, and everybody. What sense would it make? How boring would it be that we have I saw this commercial one time with I think it was recent with this football player, Peyton Manning, and he was the only character in the commercial. But when you're watching it, it doesn't it's not entertaining at all to see the same face. You're seeing the same face playing basically the same character with the same voice.
There was a movie out there a few, I have to go find back to that thing. There was a movie out there with one person. the entire movie, the screen of one time.
Mm-hmm.
Acted the entire movie. So these things happen. And that was just for that movie to make it out on screen for people to watch it. That was great creativity by whoever that producer was.
It was creative, yeah, because they have the dress like Madea, the movie Madea, by when Tyler Perry. He has played maybe four characters in that movie. He played himself, so to speak. He played Madea. He plays his brother. I mean, Madea's brother. I think he plays like another uncle or something like that. Um, they do it all the time to show you that the mind of man is diverse and can organize, as you're saying, many different characteristics
If I like,
in any settings. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
there goes Janice. Go ahead, Janice.
Do you guys remember the movie Sybil from 1976, and then they remade it in 77 in '07? That person was diagnosed with 16 personalities. Y'all
What was
need
the
to
name of
watch that.
what was the name of the movie?
Sybil.
like SYBIL.
Yep.
All right, I'm off to go.
SYBIL. You have to watch that. It was Sally Fields played in it. She was she had 16 personalities.
All right, so oh, you see that.
I put it in the chat.
Oh, you put a link.
Okay.
Oh, we'll go into it.
All right. Thank you, Janice, for that reference. Yes. Just as we were saying, 16 personalities from one person. And this is a reality. This is a they may have made the we say remade the movie in 2007, something like that. But it
Yes, they remade it in 2007, and the person was still 16 personalities.
16 personalities. I watched a movie some years ago with a person who had 12 personalities. But when you're watching the movie, it was so cleverly done. You did not know they were talking about one guy. You thought they were talking about 12 different individuals. I mean, I don't remember the name of the movie, but as we're speaking about it now, I'm sure it's going to pop up somewhere. Um, and I will be able to remember it and share it with you guys. But I'm telling you, the movie was so cleverly done. You did not know until in the very end that they were talking about one guy with all these personalities, and he was in some kind of asylum or some place like that for mad people. But they did not focus just on him. They had all these different characters, and you swear up and down they were talking about 12 different people, and it was just him. And this movie went on in his own head, in his own mind, the entire time. It was never happening. Everything we saw was never happening until they revealed it that it was just in his own mind and he's all these characters. But we, the audience, are watching it, thinking it was real. And it's the same thing we're saying here about the Bible. That as we read the Bible, guys, we tend to start using our imagination and imagine this thing as a historical book, as if it was history. And all the while, it's just all the characteristics of your very own mind. All of these characters exist, but they only exist in your mind, in your consciousness, nowhere else.
The,
And
the,
you're
only,
just using them to play a part.
the only thing historic about the Bible is your own history that you've had with it. Your own history, all the history that you have walked through.
Mm-hmm.
Through the same words and teachings. You've experienced so much of the Bible and not even aware. So many things have been revealed in you. The book good enough. I'm never gonna stop doing it, man. The book is good. I so Chris, as far as I've veered from religion, we can't go too far from the book. Because I had an
Mm-hmm.
experience with the book. I think I've told you this experience. I think I taught this experience on the show already.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2004. 2004. Living
Mm-hmm.
in California. Them time them me I'm a like like a junior pastor in training. In the
Yeah.
apostolic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was teaching like Sunday school in the morning and pastor will be doing teaching and things like that. I was with my Bible and time them I've been through it. Sometimes I read through the Bible many times and just in it here, living the thing. That's why I can't fully walk away from it because I lived it, brother. I gave my whole self to it. And on a particular day, I was working at the security company that I used to work.
Mm.
I was a gate attendant at gated community. That's what my company did. And brother, I go work the morning on my regular shift. I work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And my wife, Donna, she was the operations manager for the security company. So
Mm.
she had scheduling and things. So I was supposed to get off at 2 o'clock that evening there. And she called me
Remember the story one. Mm.
about quarter to 2 and asked me if I can go do another post from 3 to 11.
Yeah.
Because somebody should cover the post and it was a new post, so we just get to, so they didn't want the bad reputation. No? So I say, all right, she and I problem to find somebody and now we go get the money and we go work. So I say, I'm tired to, you know, because them time I'm in a nursing school and I work and it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, not go on. All right, when I leave off 2 o'clock, I leave off on my post and I'm going to drive like 45 minutes up north to go to the other post. And while I drive out, I get kind of sleepy, so I call Dana, I call her on the phone and she kind of keep me up on the phone while I drive out. And I
Mm-hmm.
drove the freeway up in a Mission View, California. Exit the freeway and then I drive up through some winding mountain roads that go up to the community where I go to work, you know. And brother, I don't know how my father sleep with you. But I know say when I wake up, the car come off of the right hand side of the road we supposed to go. Uphill me going. The car come off
Mm-hmm.
of the road and they over on the left where something that come down either lick me. Or if me continue driving, if the wheel well two more time I over one volume in hand.
Yeah.
I wake up right in time and it's like when I wake up, me never even try. But just see about the car up on the right hand side and keep going. Maybe 5 minutes away from the post by then.
Yeah.
Now I got to the post and I tell the virgin that I relieved that day. There's a guy from Trinidad named Charles Bell who was older man. At them time that he was about my age when he went out, but I was a much younger. And the man, me I tell him what going on, and he said, Greg, and Christian guy at the time, you know, and I said, Greg,
Mm-hmm.
nothing was gonna happen to you. The Lord was just showing you something. I said, cool, all right, but upon the post and my work for the 8 hours. Have my Bible out, I read my Bible and I have my book them when I study and in a school.
Mm-hmm.
Leave. The virgin when I leave, Charles, him leave and gone down the road now. Oh, he might have reached same place where me almost went after the road. Couldn't have reached any further later. As him just leave him called me back and I said, Greg, I left my note, my name tag. He said, I left my name tag there. Can you take it? The name tag is just like a piece of metal, like a half ruler. About
Mm-hmm.
with your name and I, that's where you're sticking at the wall so the residents will know who you are. So I take out the man name tag, put in my name tag in the thing, and I take him name tag and stick in the middle of my Bible. So I
Mm.
wouldn't. Don't work 11 o'clock in night. At 11 o'clock, there's no God. So I have to lock up the garden. Lock up the garden, take up my bag, my book, them, everything, and walk to my car and drive off, heading down the road. I reach at the same place where I almost run off the road and I come up with her.
Mm-hmm.
And fall off of the car. And I say, what could that be? You hear something fall though. And I say, what that
Y-
could I look around in my car, I'm looking and I see all of my possessions them from the keep driving.
Yeah.
Get to the bottom of the hill now about to go on the freeway. And it dawned on me, say, well, I'm reading Bible. Because I remember I had the Bible in my hand, so I walk to the car, put on the Bible on the car, put in everything, forget about it and drive off.
Mm-hmm.
Spot and it fall off. And I heard it when it fall, but I never see it. You hear something drop off, but I never see it.
Yeah.
By the time I realize yeah, it me I say nothing makes sense me come back at that point. Something run over it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get on the freeway and I was driving on the freeway and they 11 o'clock at night now, no traffic, you know, so me I shot 80 miles per hour. Driving for 45 minutes to go Anaheim on the yard. Reach on the yard after I live in the call my wife and I tell her and I say, then time you know you're Christian so you're superstitious. And I say, I
Yeah.
could have of all me things that me could have lose my Bible of all things. And brother, the drive now me yard. Feeling my kind of way, I'm reach my yard tonight. I check out one old Bible when we did retire already. And
Yeah.
take out the Bible and put it back in my work bag. Say that's my Bible in there, so I work. Carry around with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, man. The following morning, I get up, drive on my regular job. Because remember, my regular job is 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I get to my
Mm-hmm.
regular job at like a quarter to 6 in the morning. And I open me about to go open up the guard house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to go open up the guard house, but when I look on the back of the car, it was a 1995 Ford Black Ford Thunderbird, brother. With a little spoiler on the back.
Yeah.
Back of the car, had the Bible in and
Itch up.
Bible itch up on the spoiler on the back of the car. Me not talk, hold on, let me come on the camera. No, Afrish way. Sorry, the guys. Why that happening as this?
Yes, eh?
No, me I tried. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, Curtis. Now log out and log back in.
Or it not allow you to open up. Okay. Yeah, I think his camera, not his, yeah, his camera is not opening up. So he's gonna log back in and show us what he's talking about. But what a remarkable story. All this time, There he goes. All right, I see you now, Certi.
Yeah, not on the camera.
Yeah.
See the Bible I'm going to talk about. This is the Bible. Same Bible. This was 2004. That's about 22 years ago. The Bible jump off of the car top, brother. Because now the magical thing that I was going downhill, because keep in mind when I was coming up and got to that spot there, I was coming uphill. So I'm going downhill now. So if the Bible is on the car top and it all jump off, it's supposed to slide forward and jump on the front of the car, not on the back, because I downhill me I go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the wind or what, but it fall off and drop on the back of the car and itch up right under the spoiler. Now, remember now, when I get on the freeway after that,
Going 80 miles an hour.
80 miles an hour for 45 minutes on the yard. I'm parked the car outside of my apartment in the midnight hours there when I reach it. And get up again 5 o'clock in the morning and
And drive to work.
drive another 20 minutes to go on my regular job now. When I reach there, so I see the Bible face down, open, face down, brother. Itch up in a spoiler. So
Face
I know,
down.
yeah, man. So I carried this book here, I carried this word here. When I say I carried it, the Black Foot Thunderbird carried in some circumstances when no law of gravity or no law of nothing at all is not. When you go up on the ramp, them to come on and off, it's supposed to drop off, and if you never drop off at night, it's supposed to drop off in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm still happy to this Bible. So I know that the Bible is powerful,
Mm-hmm.
applied the right way. And I
When
know that
applied the right way. Yes.
And I know that what I experienced that night was a commission to carry the word.
Mm-hmm.
But word in the correct way, brother. That's
Yes. Not in the religious
that's why
dogma.
I fight all these years with this thing, trying to grow into it and get out because I realized it was a commission. Done it. You see that so the Bible is great, guys, when you understand it and apply it from the standpoint that the writers of the Bible intended it. Not with the church. The church have Barabbas them, man, and thief them. Them just, no, I'm going to speak it just like how me see it and feel it and know it.
Mm-hmm.
And them just find a way to capitalize on a thing that is good and benefit from it. And set up them little hierarchy and the church does not pay taxes, what are them collecting the most money and what come on, get real, brother. And I listen to the people. That's why we do what we do. That's why we're here every Sunday morning, okay?
Mm-hmm. Because we are, like I said, commissioned, to we're apostles now. You understand? We've been disciplined, discipleship to apostleship, and we're just putting the word out there now so that we can wake up more people who are, still in their slumber. So yeah, man, great testimony, Sir T. That is as they would say, unbelievable. If you never had the Bible for proof or or remember it so vividly, we would say, it's a made up story.
I most, it is the most unbelievable, natural thing
Mhm.
in our whole life. We all experience things that we can't explain. But this one was so detailed and all of the parts, the moving parts. Starting that, because the greatest miracle in all that for me is not that the Bible stay upon the carrying.
Mhm.
No, the greatest miracle is that me name when I would and dead when me I go to the evening. That is the greatest miracle in all of it. But when you put all of it together, I know that I dead me dead and come back to life than that be there to
Mhm.
carry the message actually.
Yeah, and the Bible fall off right where you almost run off the road. So that's another
Yeah, man,
interesting thing.
and when like I said, when the brethren call me back, tell me to put your name tag. Now keep in mind, that's the other thing. The man and name tag, they look a piece of roller where they in the middle, when we put in the middle of the Bible.
Mhm.
It's my job up at Anaheim Hills, the man in there. The man name tag still in the Bible, it's not just out me right now.
Yeah.
The man
Uh,
and metal lick up piece of metal roller where the Indian keep in mind the Bible is face down.
open.
The man name not drop out of the thing, brother.
Wow. Look at that. Yeah,
It's the
man.
natural thing I have, unexplained natural thing I have ever experienced in my whole life.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Consciousness at work, as we've come to know. And that's what we're explaining here in this lesson, to remain faithful to your idea, desire, assumption, whatever you want to call it. And it's just simply going to explain to you or to us, consciousness at work, and the proper way on how to go about doing it. We've been going about it, so-called naturally. We've been doing the work, but we did not know what we were doing. Everything we were doing was in ignorance. But now, when you have more clarity and you're able to, um, operate in the right way. When things are not going your way, which the story is going to tell you in this chapter, is how to remain conscious of your desire, how to remain focused on your desire, even when you see things are not going the right way. And that's why it's important to know thyself, to be the divine, to know thyself to be consciousness, I amness. You understand? Awareness of being. Know yourself to be that, and you will operate, in the proper state that you're supposed to. All right, so let's continue, and we'll be right back to address some more of our findings.
The most loving man in the world, if he be man, could say to his mother what he is supposed to have said to her as recorded in the second chapter of the Gospel of St. John. Jesus is made to say to his mother, "Woman, what have I to do with thee?" You and I, who are not yet identified with the ideal we serve, would not make such a statement to our mother.
Hmm.
Yet here was the embodiment of love saying to his mother, "Woman, what have I to do with thee? You are Jesus, and your mother is your own consciousness. For consciousness is the cause of all. Therefore, it is the great father, mother of all phenomena. You and I are creatures of habit. We get into the habit of accepting as final the evidence of our senses. Wine is needed for the guests, and my senses tell me that there is no wine. and I, through habit, am about to accept this lack as final. But I remember that my consciousness is the one and only reality. Therefore, if I deny the evidence of my senses and assume the consciousness of having sufficient wine, I have, in a sense, rebuked my mother or the consciousness which suggested lack. And by assuming the consciousness of having what I desire for my guests, wine is produced in a way we do not know. I've just read a note here from a dear friend of mine in the audience. Last Sunday, he had an appointment at a church for a wedding. The clock told him he was late. Everything told him he was late. He was standing on a street corner waiting for a streetcar. There was none in sight. He imagined that instead of being on the street corner, that he was in the church. At that moment, a car stopped in front of him. My friend told the driver of his predicament, and the driver said to him, "I am not going that way, but I will take you there." My friend got into the car and was at the church in time for the service. That is applying the law correctly. Non-acceptance of the suggestion of lateness. Never accept the suggestion of lack. In this case, I say to myself, what have I to do with thee? What have I to do with the evidence of my senses? Bring me all the pots and fill them. In other words, I assume that I have wine and all that I desire. Then my dimensionally greater self inspires in all the thoughts and the actions which aid the embodiment of my assumption. It is not a man saying to a mother, "Woman, what have I to do with thee?" It is every man who knows this law who will say to himself, when his senses suggest lack, "What have I to do with thee? Get behind me." I will never again listen to a voice like that, because if I do, then I am impregnated by that suggestion, and I will bear the fruit of lack.
Wow. I hope you guys were listening, man. That was very, very profound. What Never just mentioned there. Let's go back over it again right here. Okay. Um, Never right here says this was John 2:4. "Woman, what have I to do with thee?" And you heard him say that the woman he's mentioning here, are talking about here, is your awareness of being, your consciousness. All right. He says right here that you and I, who are not yet identified with the ID we serve, would not make such a statement to our mother. Yet here was the embodiment of love saying to his mother, "Woman, what have I to do with thee?" In this case, you are being Jesus. You are Jesus, and your mother is your own consciousness. For consciousness is the cause of all, therefore it is the great Father, Mother of all phenomena. And you and I are creatures of habit. So we get into the habit of accepting final evidence of our senses. Okay, we get into the habit of accepting as final the evidence of our five senses. And so he's saying that wine is needed for the guests, and my senses tell me that there is no wine. And through habit, I am about to accept this lack of final. But then when I remember that my consciousness is the one and only reality, therefore, if I deny the evidence of my senses or five senses and assume the consciousness of having sufficient wine, I have, in a sense, rebuked my mother or the consciousness who suggested the lack thereof. And so what Neville is saying here is that habit is the cause of our predicaments, our accepting our predicaments in the first place. Habit is not law, but it acts as if it is. What does he mean by that? Well, we're acting in a subconscious manner. You understand? the habit we're employing or we're doing or using are just subconscious acceptance of behaviors that we've heard, seen, and have experienced. And so they've become our habits, habitually accepting failure as final or supposed failure as final. You know, we're not when we're accepted something that is has gone awry or failed, it is not true. We're just accepting it out of habitually doing it or witnessing our parents, friends, just people in general accepting failure, accepting lack, accepting so-called disappointment of reaching their desire. So we're always acting out of habits and not out of truth or facts. So what he's saying here is that when he told his mother to, what do I have to do with thee? And to get behind me, he's saying to what the evidence of his senses are denying at that time. He's saying that what his evidence are conscious of being or conscious of seeing, what your senses are conscious of experiencing at this point, you are to deny that consciousness, which consciousness is the mother, father of all phenomena, right? You're to deny it because now the consciousness is using the five senses to deem something final. You are to differentiate between what your five senses are observing and to what your own I amness, the consciousness that you are, that it is capable of all things. Nothing is impossible to this consciousness, and that you are to employ only your consciousness that is within you and not the senses that are external. They are going to rob you. You understand? They're going to hold you up and rob you. They are thieves. And all you have to do is turn your back on them and say, get thee behind me. When Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan, he's talking to he's talking to his conscious mind or the five senses that as soon as lack or supposed lack shows up, in the sense here, this guy was going somewhere and he was running late. And instead of entertaining being late, what did he do? He imagined himself already in or at the place of his desire. He saw himself there, not arriving there, but already there, probably, acting and talking amongst the people and stuff like that. Okay. He put himself from the very moment he realized that he is running late, he went ahead of time. Okay. And put himself in the very end at that moment. And as soon as he did that, a car came by that was not even going his way. But the man had to stop because of his imagining, because of his state of imagination. The man was summoned. He was employed from within the man's consciousness. And here comes this guy playing the part that he employed in his own mind. And the guy said, I'm not going your way now, but I will take you. You understand? This is in a sense he's being like the good Samaritan at this point. Okay? He's not going away there, but he will oblige your desire, your need. Go out of his way, as they would say, and have no remorse about it, no drawback about it, no issue with it. Feel that person is going to feel like they're doing you a good deed, a service. They're paying it forward, so to speak. That person may have been someone who had the same experience and may have even forgotten how many times someone had helped them. And they just happened to be They were already in your vicinity, but because you had the right state of mind, they stopped, they showed up. If you had gone to accepting final that the time for your arrival is not going to work, you're late already, it's not going to happen. If you had entertained that, you would have that guy would not pass by you, even though he was in the vicinity, he would not pass by you. And even if he did pass by you, he would not stop. Something else would have gotten his attention. You understand? And just that small, you know, awareness, almost like the mustard seed, right? Just having that awareness to only put yourself in the place desired, despite the evidence of the senses. Your senses now know. You look at the clock, your eye knows know that you are running late. Or you may have heard the time on the radio. You now know that you are running late or that you're going to be late. But you rebuked it. You rebuked the consciousness of such a thing. You did not make it fact or final. You rebuked it. You put it behind you, you know, and you imagined the outcome being that you made it and you were there. You were in Barbados and you went there first class. And you just leave it be. You don't know how it is going to happen, but you have employed within your consciousness an awareness that knows how to do it. And before you know it, lo and behold, you're in your desired place, and somebody showed up to make it happen. Yes, sir, T.
Yeah, sir, Chris. You know what I think is the issue why we don't entertain and utilize this beautiful law more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it not come with no spooky thing. It not come with
Mm-hmm.
miraculous. Yeah, it happened natural.
It's too simple.
When this law come true for you, you're almost tempted to think, no, sir, I can't let me do this happen.
Mm. Too simple.
Like I said, the brethren late to go where him go, and he just placed himself there.
Yeah.
Mental. He just placed
Mm-hmm.
himself in the place, and nobody is mad at him because he's not late. He's just there, and it's normal. It's good. Here comes
Mm-hmm.
that business and stuff and turn around and carry.
Yeah.
Notice that consciousness has the potential where it could have taken him up and carry him through the ear or put him down in the sea. But consciousness is not gonna violate a natural law. It consciousness is gonna let it happen naturally within the confines of natural law. You know what is this
Yes.
is spiritual
Mm.
spook sounding miracle like what you're reading in the Bible and see. Something natural, no man, no stretch, no rod class, no sea. And because it's a Red Sea moment that feeling and go by the mathematical distance and time when you have left and the distance time it was to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Him go late, you know.
Yeah.
Go late because him not on a ride.
Mm-hmm.
It now violate the law to make it become a sport. It will happen in a natural way.
Yeah.
But the end result is just as miraculous as crossing the Red Sea. Because the end result, it never supposed to happen. When you look upon it from natural eyes, it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen naturally. And that's why we tend to think, no, sir, can't look for something wrong with me here. Yeah, you better believe that make it happen.
Yeah, man. MC that's been too simple, you know. It has to be more than that. You have to pray for an OR, beg her. You have to you know, get a brigade or police escort and all these different things to open up the way for you to make it on time, you know. And the only fire brigade or police escort is your consciousness. You understand? That once you employ it, like Joshua did Rahab. Remember, we talked about this weeks ago, you know, where Joshua employed the services of Rahab. Rahab is the harlot, And a harlot gives to man whatever man desires. The harlot here is your awareness of being. And Rahab means spirit of the father. Ra means spirit and Ab means father. So you are employing the spirit. And only spirit can travel anywhere in the world from where you are presently and place itself there. The body cannot do it because it will go against the law of the third dimension. But you are operating from within the fourth dimensional space. You understand? Your spirit, your awareness of being operates from the fourth dimension. And within the fourth dimension, there is no such thing as a location or a place or confinement. You move anywhere and have your being. When you're imagining, your imagination is not here now. It's in the fourth dimension. You understand? But it is mirroring itself. You understand? Using because when you imagine or think, you're thinking images. You imagine it in image. When you're thinking about something, you're thinking in image. Okay? That's why they call it imagination. Is a nation of images, multiple images you're employing. And when you're moving across space and time in the fourth dimension, nothing can limit it or restrict it. It places itself wherever you place it. What did Joshua say? Or what was the instruction in the Bible? It says, wherever your feet shall, or whatever your feet shall tread upon, that have I given unto thee, or given unto you. Wherever the sole of your foot, the foot they're talking about here is your awareness. Foot means understanding, and your awareness understands everything that there is to do to accomplish your goal. So wherever you place it, wherever the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that you have given unto yourself. That was our title. You have given unto your own self. Whether you're trading upon fruitfulness or lack, that is what your conscience is going to give you, because it gives you both good and evil, because your consciousness is the only reality, meaning that it's the only thing that exists. You understand? Therefore, everything that you get comes from your consciousness, because it is the only reality. It is the only I amness, the only God, if you want to call it that. Nothing else exists but your consciousness. And so when you're moving in your own mind or imagining something, you are operating from the higher dimensional self, not here in the limited 3D aspect of yourself. This is just a reflection. When you are in the fourth dimension operating, imagine or just liken it to yourself in front of the mirror. Okay? When you're in front of the mirror, okay, this is you in the fourth dimension dressing yourself. And the reflection is you in the third dimension showing what you are doing in the fourth. That makes sense? Again, imagine yourself in front of the mirror. You on the outside looking in the mirror. This is you. This is you in the fourth dimension dressing yourself, dressing up yourself in whatever adornment you desire. And what's reflecting in the mirror on the other side is the third dimension reflecting what you're doing in the fourth. You understand? And it must reflect what you're doing. It cannot miss. As you see in the mirror, it no matter what you do, the mirror must reflect it. And when is it doing it? Right now. Not in the future. Right now, presently. Therefore, wherever you place your mind, your awareness. You are there right now. That's why this man ended up there on time, because he saw himself there right now. The sole of his foot was treading upon the place of his appointment. And somebody had to come to make it present, because he was being present in that place. So if you preside or make yourself present in a place of being late, stuck in traffic, or just being late altogether, then something must come about and play that part to prove to you that you, wherever you place the sole of your foot, which is your consciousness, your I amness, wherever you place it, there you have given unto yourself. So that's why this book is saying here in the story that to not consider the five senses, because the five senses always places you in your predicament rather than out of it. So to place yourself out of your predicament, to take yourself out of your predicament, you have to go within, which is now in you're operating as a fourth dimensional self. You understand? You go within, you dress yourself up there, and it will be reflected just like it does in the mirror right now in the present moment. And somewhere, somehow, somewhere, someone will come and aid you in making it a reality. But people will not accept it or believe it to be so, because it is too simple. Everyone understands dressing up in front of the mirror and you will see the reflection right then. But many people does not accept or understand why or how it works from the fourth dimensional self to the 3D self. They don't realize that this 3D world is just a mirror, it's just a reflection, it's just a shadow. You understand? Being cast from the fourth dimension. It's like a projector projecting the images on the screen. You know, they think what they see on the screen is real. They don't know that the only thing that's real is what's in the projector, or that's what's on the reel, being projected. They take what they see as the reality, and they try to fix the reality from what they see. You cannot fix reality from reality. You cannot fix, as scripture say, nothing is made by what appears. Everything is made from what it does not appear. That's what it's telling you. All things are made by what does not appear. Nothing is made from what appears. Nothing is made from what you're seeing, from the reality you're so-called seeing. Everything is made from what you cannot see, but you see it from within your own consciousness. And that is the only place that you can change your outside reality, your reflection. You understand? That's the only place you can change it. And that's what this story right here was saying. All right. So so now he's going to get back into another story. And this one is about the fig tree. I never did understand this story when we read it in the Bible back in the day, and so on and so forth. But now take a listen, it's going to all make sense. The story of this fig tree. They're all, both of the stories are related. How interesting, but they're just using different context, different scenery, and different objects to describe what we just read about him and his mother. I the same thing I'm going to talk about, but he's just using a different context. As Certi said earlier, maybe somebody could remember our reason with the first story, or they can with the fig tree story. It all depends on the individual, where their state of being is, or their mind is. It can just make sense from different stories. And so this story right here, I'm gonna let Neville tell it, we're going to come back and address it as well.
We turn to another story in the Gospel of St. Mark where Jesus is hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said unto it, No man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. What tree am I blasting? Not a tree on the outside. It is my own consciousness. I am the vine. My consciousness, my I amness, is the great tree. And habit once more suggests emptiness. It suggests barrenness. It suggests 4 months before I can feast. But I cannot wait 4 months. I give myself this powerful suggestion that never again will I even for a moment relieve that it will take 4 months to realize my desire. The belief in lack must from this day on be barren and never again reproduce itself in my mind. It is not a man blasting a tree. Everything in the Bible takes place in the mind of man. The tree, the city, the people, everything. There is not a statement made in the Bible that does not represent some attribute of the human mind. They're all personifications of the mind and not things within the world. Consciousness is the one and only reality. There is no one to whom we can turn after we discover that our own awareness is God. For God is the cause of all, and there is nothing but God. You cannot say that a devil causes some things and God others. Listen to these words.
All right. So you hear what he said right there? You cannot say that a devil causes some things and God others, as you're instructed that God is your awareness of being. Okay, your consciousness, your awareness of being is this God. And consciousness is the one and only reality. There is no one to whom we can turn after we discover that our own awareness is God. For God, who is your consciousness, is the cause of all things. And there is nothing but God. You understand? As I was discussing with someone earlier this week, talking about why the devil is causing him to, but no, what is it? He was like in a bad mood, and he was saying it's the devil. The devil is causing him. So I had to stop him right in his tracks, right there and then. That, get thee behind me with this nonsense. Okay? There is no devil. There is only one power in existence. And depending on how you're using the power is how you label it. God or the devil. Good or evil. You understand? To believe that there's a devil, you're doing a disservice to the God you believe in, because you're saying to God that there is another as powerful as you, causing me to do what I do not wish to do. And he never argued about it after that. You understand? Because he realized that I was right. You're giving away your power and you're taking away and limiting the God you believe in to say that there is another as powerful or even more powerful than this God you believe in. This is where we've been tricked and bamboozled into believing that there is this so-called devil that is causing all this chaos in the world. All right. But this story is very profound. This story can be found in Mark 11, verse 13 and 14. And it talks about the fig tree, as you heard, that Jesus was hungry. Jesus is hungry is probably implying you here having a desire. Okay, this is you. Jesus means Jehovah, Jehovah saves. All right. And this is you who's about to save yourself. You have a desire and you are about to save yourself. Okay. To have a desire is to save oneself, plain and simple. A desire is something that you are lacking, and that's why you have the desire. You don't have it physically. Okay. It's a place of lack. And so you have the desire so you can experience it. So he's using the fig tree. And hear what it says here, the fig tree, and seeing the fig tree far off, having leaves. He came, if haply he might, and find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves. For the time of the fig tree was not yet. So what he's saying here is that this supposed fig tree was present and he saw it far off. He was hungry. He goes to the fig tree. The fig tree is your consciousness. This is you going towards your desire. And all your desires are within your consciousness. You're conscious of all things, but you're conscious of this one particular thing at this time, right? And you're going towards the fig tree. Upon arriving up in the presence of the fig tree, you find that there are nothing but leaves on it. Okay, there are no figs because it was not in the season for figs to be on the fig tree. So Jesus said unto it, no man eat fruit of thee thereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. So we never did understand this parable. So the fig tree, as you've now come to know, is your own consciousness in which you mistakenly see lack. You're using your consciousness to imagine lack, to see lack, and to accept it. And saying to yourself, why this is not possible right now? Because this is where you mentioned that for the time of figs were not yet. So you're saying to yourself, it is not the time for me to have this thing. Whatever excuses you want to use. My credit is messed up. My job is slow. This is you addressing the fig, your consciousness, to say that I'm not in the position. I have to get my ducks lined up in a row. I have to get my life right, my time right, my mind right. All these different things you have to do before you can have what you desire. All these things have to fall in place first. And in your mind, you're thinking, once they start falling in place, then yes, I'm getting the near to my desire. But you will soon find out that nothing is perfect or nothing is lining up. You know, you will soon find that nothing is really going the way you desired it or expected it to go. So now you're set far back, further and further away. You're going backwards. You're going backwards, and your desire is going forward. Both of you are separating, widening the gap, because you will find that so many different things are going to transpire that you will not be in the right place and mind or circumstances according to you to have this desire. Okay, and this is happening because that's where the sole of your foot is treading upon. You are treading upon the fact that you have to get all these things right, which is meaning you are accepting lack. So something has to come and spread you and your desire far apart from each other. Something has to do it. You understand? To to show you in the reflection of where you are in consciousness what is happening, okay, or what you are causing to happen. You understand? So you will not um go any further towards your goal, and it will not come any closer to you because you have a a separation complex. You understand? You don't know how this thing is going to work out. And so you have accepted your lack or your circumstances that it's not possible. So you from this day forward, what Jesus is saying here is that he said right here, and Jesus answered and said unto it, no man eat fruit of this tree or of thee thereafter forever. He's telling you to not eat of the tree of lack. Do not eat of the consciousness of lack. Do not be conscious of lack. Okay? That state of consciousness or state of mind should be barren. Barren means to not bear fruit or to not be fertile. So you have to make that state barren and make the state of having or the state of fruitfulness where you are productive. Okay? Make that the state of fertility where you're fertile, and make the state of lack infertile. Okay? Because you're only going to impregnate yourself with the state of lack. That's all you're going to do. You're going to impregnate yourself by your focus on lack. That's what's going to happen. You understand? So he says right here that what tree am I blasting? Not a tree up out on the outside. It's my own consciousness. I am the vine. John 15, verse 1. My consciousness, my I amness is the great tree, and habit once more suggests emptiness. So this is your habitual thinking of lack, not necessarily consciousness producing or giving you lack. It is just that your habitual thinking of lack. Once you come upon this struggle or difficulty, that what you desire is a hardship, you immediately go to your habitual thinking that I'm not going to get it. And then you start to say to yourself, well, if I get this in order, that in order, if this just happened, if the economy gets right, if my job improves, if all these different things, if I could just save some more money, all these different things you're saying to yourself, no, which are just habits, you know, that once these things are in alignment, then your desire is going to come to you. But you will soon find out you're only pushing them further and further away. Why? Because you are believing in luck. Okay, you're believing in the consciousness of luck. And so therefore, you have impregnated your consciousness now with luck. And whatever you impregnate your consciousness with, it must produce. Even if it's luck, it's going to produce more and more luck. It's the law of assumption. I mean, the law of attraction that you're doing right there. Okay. So he says right here, my consciousness, my omness is the great tree, and habit once more suggests emptiness. It suggests barrenness. It suggests 4 months before I can feast, but I cannot wait 4 months. I give myself this powerful suggestion that never again will I even for a moment believe that it will take 4 months to realize my desire. The belief in lack must from this day forward be barren and never again reproduce itself in my mind. Okay? So you're telling your own self, you're disciplining yourself right now. Hear what him say? When Jesus said, when he said, Jesus answered and said unto it, the tree, no man eat of the fruit therefore, or no man eat of the tree of the hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. What he's saying there is that your conscious mind is the one you're talking to. Your subconscious mind is divine reasoning. The conscious mind only is limited reasoning. It's only limited in its reasoning of how things are going to be. But your subconscious, this Jesus character that we're talking about here, is represents a subconscious mind. And it is enlightened reasoning or divine reasoning. It put lights on everything and make it make sense. To the conscious mind, it doesn't make any sense because it's limited reasoning. Your subconscious mind is divine reasoning or enlightened reasoning, and nothing can hide from it. Everything it makes visible. All of the ways that your conscious mind finds hardship in or limited in doing, the subconscious mind sheds light on how it can be done. Okay? And it is saying here that when he spoke those words to the fig tree, the disciples, which represents the conscious mind, they heard it so that they may be disciplined. That's why it said here, and his disciples heard it. This is your subconscious mind reasoning with enlightenment, and your conscious mind is supposed to realize that only your subconscious have this capability, and to leave it to that reasoning mind. Okay? Leave the unknown or the hardship or the difficulties, leave it to that aspect of your mind. You're only consciously, you're only supposed to desire. You're only supposed to desire something, not figure out how it's going to happen. And any limitations you may see or hear, you are to employ your subconscious to figure it out. Your five senses are going to be aware of the difficulty of the environment, of the unemployment, of the economy. It's going to be aware of all of that stuff. But you're supposed to pass on your desire to the subconscious so that it can work it out for you because it's enlightened reasoning. The conscious mind does not know how to do that. And you're supposed to make, going forward, your conscious mind, you're supposed to make it barren, meaning that it cannot produce. So don't even waste your time trying to use it to produce anything because the conscious mind is male. It cannot produce anything. It can only have a desire, have a need, but it is incapable of producing. The only part of your mind that can produce, or the only part of mankind that can produce, is the feminine aspect, the female. So you desire a child, boy or girl, give it to the female, give it to a woman. She will bring it. Do not make yourself go crazy trying to figure out how you're going to have a child. You cannot do it. It's not possible. But there's a greater side of you, the higher self of you, the feminine aspect of you, the woman, the female. She knows how to do it. Give it to her, and she will bring to you a son. As the Bible always says, everything is a son. A son is just the desire, the idea. Okay? Whenever they mention the word son and stuff, they're just talking about your desire, the idea. The woman will bring it to you. All your desires. Okay? And so therefore, you are working as one unit, but you have two different nature on how to bring about the thing. One give, okay? what you desire, you give it to the other, and the other one reproduces it and then gives it back to you. You see the circle right there, so? It's a circle. Giving and coming right back. It's not linear. It doesn't start one place and end one place. It starts with you and ends with you. I want a son, a daughter, I give it, and it comes right back to me. Use employing the services of your wife, of your woman. Yes, sir, T.
Yes, sir, Chris. Yeah, man. Perfectly stated. Notice as great as the subconscious mind is,
Mm-hmm.
conscious mind, the one desiring, does not express a desire to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind has nothing to produce, can't produce. It does not have the power to produce until you inject something. Powerful as the female reproduction system is,
Mm-hmm.
somebody in a plant wants sperm in that she cannot produce nothing. As powerful as the soil is and can bring forth all kind of things to the farmers. In a plant where you can't get more. In a plant a corn you can't get more. And it's not like you can get the corn from another way. The only way you can get the corn of the plant is in the soil.
Yeah.
But the soil cannot give the corn until you plant it.
And sir, T, you just use a word. We want to touch on this before going further. Reproduce. The male produces the
Mm-hmm.
sperm. The woman reproduces what was first produced, but she give the physical expression. She give the mature expression, which is the child being visible. But it is a reproduction, so it is she has a reproductive organ.
While the
But
man of
but but and the man have a productive organ. You produce the sperm, and she reproduces a child. She gives it back. She returns it. To reproduce means to give back, to do it again.
amazing enough. Because even while the woman is pregnant, she already knows that the child is the man significantly give back to him. Because she's pregnant, P. Greg. She pregnant
Who are
for
you
him.
who are you pregnant for?
Yes,
Yeah,
but the with is for him.
yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing. The subconscious mind is pregnant with the desire what the subconscious mind is pregnant with is not for the subconscious mind, it's for
No,
you.
it's for the conscious mind, because the conscious mind exists to have a conscious experience, to know the mind of knowledge, to know what it is experiencing. But it has to employ the services of the subconscious in order to have the experience. You understand?
Hmm. It,
And you realize that the subconscious does not keep what you impregnated with now, because it is a circle. It has to come back to the one who started the cycle. The boomerang effect. It has to come back, the mirror effect. Whoever started the production, okay, will receive the reproduction, will receive what you first give. It will be given or returned. There goes that word again. It will come back. It will return to you. You know? And that's why you have to be very careful of what you are always given. So this scripture warns you here that from this day forward, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. No man eat of the fruit of lack. No man eat of the tree of lack forever, which means that you should never employ the tree of lack or the tree that cannot reproduce. Okay? When in a sense, when it's like a man seeing what do you call it now? Let's use a relationship type of example here. You see someone afar off. You are a man, and vice versa for the woman too. But let's just use a man, right? You see someone afar off. You know it's a person, but you cannot tell. But you desire a relationship so that you can have a child or reproduce or whatever the case may be. You are now getting up in age, you are 30 years old or whatever, and you want to get married. You see somebody afar off. Upon your um arrival, you realize that it is another man. You understand? It's another man. So what hits your mind right now? You can't find nobody. I'll be a man in a place. That's going to be your habitual assumption. Everywhere me go, I'll be a man. Can't find a woman. But you're to use your I amness to change that habitual perception and to say, I will no longer, whenever I have this experience where I go somewhere and all I see are men, are a man, I must not say to myself, my consciousness, that everywhere I go, that's all I see. I must, from that very moment, make that state barren so that upon your next journey or next place you arrive at, you will see nothing but women or a woman who will be perfect for you because you change the state of awareness. You change your perception. This is why you hear some people say, boy, this always happened to me. Everywhere we go, I the same thing. And it never fails because they have not made the state, that habitual state of thinking that everywhere they go, so and so is going to happen to them. And so therefore, they have given that state fertility. You understand? Which you cannot give a man, make a man produce a child. You understand? You're going to be disappointed. Can't produce a child or reproduce a child in this case, as a woman can. You can only produce the sperm. And for you to be trying to figure out how you're going to have a child, you know, in this instance, from one man to another, it's never going to happen. That's a barren state. But your belief in it will keep you barren. And so you have to change your state of awareness, your state of assumption, and place it in a state of fertility. Your consciousness now knows what outcome, what circumstances will create a fertility or will be fertile and ready to receive your seed so that it can reproduce it. You know, you will come upon the state, the place, the people, the person that will take your desire, your idea, and reproduce it and give it back to you. But if you keep fighting with a state that cannot produce, as it's saying right here, the fig tree, it was not in season yet, so it could not produce. It was limited to giving off any figs. It had to wait 4 months. The waiting of the 4 months here is you believing that there has to be a particular time, season. You know, we have 4 seasons in the year. The 4 months here could be referring to the 4 seasons in which you're saying, well, on a winter yet, so I have to wait until, you know, winter time before my business gets better, because in the winter time we have a lot of snowbirds that come to Florida, so I have to wait until winter before my business can pick up. Or you might say, I have to wait until the summer when kids go on vacation before they can flock my establishment because they won't be in school. And so you're giving yourself this limitation that you have to wait 4 months or for a particular season. And with consciousness, there is no such thing. This is only on a physical level or plane that we see season come and go. But you can name any season you want in your mind. Any season. If a winter, it's always busy, then make your consciousness winter. No. If a summer or spring is always busy, you make it likewise in your mind. And as within, so without. It's that simple. It's always been telling you. So I love this story of the fig tree. Now we finally understand what the fig tree is. It's not a tree. It's just your consciousness of lack or your belief in lack. And you have to wait until a particular time goes by for this lack to go with it. The economy right now is the fig tree. And we are waiting for the president or the many different Democrats or Republicans or all these different politicians, I like to call them. We're waiting for them to make the right this decision for us or for yourself before you can move forward. Gas price high, so now we have to go wait until me get a raise. You're waiting on your boss to give you a raise. You create your own raise. You understand? Don't worry about the gas price. Okay? Make more money. It is not of your concern. Because if you limit yourself to that, as we said here, wherever the sole of your foot tread upon, that you will give unto yourself. So do not say, boy, gas price high, I'm gonna know what I'm gonna do. Or the market slow, I'm gonna know what we're gonna do. Or money now run. All these different habitual, I like to call it, speech patterns that we have downloaded into our consciousness. We just regurgitate them, you know, and actually believe them, but they're not really ours. They're just habits that we picked up, and the habits where we originated. These are things that we downloaded from our environment, from our families, from our parents, from our friends, from school, from just anything in general. It's a download. And they've made us now an habitual believer in lack, not knowing that we have a consciousness that can supersede all of that, even in the sight of lack, even now when the economy is showing a challenge and your five senses knows it, you can still overcome it because you are the great awareness of being. All right. So let's finish the rest of the audio. It's only a few more minutes, and we'll be right back to close out today's lesson.
Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I held holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee, and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass, and cut in sunder the bars of iron. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness, and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord, which called thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. I have made the earth and created man upon it. I, even my hands have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives, not for price nor reward, saith the Lord of hosts. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. Read.
All right, so we're going to stop it right there. It's very appropriate to stop the audio right there. It's ended by saying that I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God or no other God beside me or besides me. Okay? I am your consciousness, or which is the law. I am consciousness, the law, and there is none else. There is no God, no other awareness, no other I amness beside me.
No other law or
No
no
other
other
law.
law, nothing else that work name alone.
Only one at work at all times. And depending on how you use this law, it will determine your outcome. And you will, in your ignorance, blame another when it doesn't go your way. Okay? The only person to blame is yourself. Go ahead, Serti.
If you notice, you'll realize that that law is both God and the devil.
Yes.
It's both. So if you're looking for a God, here you have it. If you're looking for a devil, here you have it. You get to decide what you're utilizing the law to be God or to be the devil. Are you being God, meaning you're harvesting good for yourself and others from this law, or are you being the devil, meaning that you're carving out evil for yourself and others via the same law? You get to decide that, but that's the only law. There is no other.
Exactly. Only one law. And you are told from the very beginning to not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It is telling you you cannot eat from the belief in two laws, one good, one evil, one God, one devil, the one and only God. That's right. That is a tune from the one G Royal. Coming soon. Okay. It's already produced. We'll see if we can play it for you next week. With the one and only God. All right. And that's what we're saying. Listen to what the book says right here. Consciousness is the only or the one and only reality. And you cannot say that a devil caused some things, and that God the others. As Serti just pointed out, both God and the devil are opposite end of the same stick. Okay? You have one stick in your hand and you're calling it two because you have a top and you have a bottom, or a left and a right. Somebody will look at you and say, you're a madman. You only have one stick, but you have opposite ends. One part to the left, one part to the right, or one above, one below. But it is one. And depending on what end you're wielding it from, will determine the outcome. You understand? That's all it is saying. It went on to say that, listen to these words. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the lions of kings, to open before him the two leaved gates, and the gate shall not be shut. Okay? I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder, which means to cut in half, the bars of iron. What it's really saying here is that your awareness of being, you're sending it ahead of yourself, ahead of the body, ahead of the five senses, which denies what it sees right now. But you're sending it ahead, but you're doing it right now. And you're sending it to the place of your desire. And you're doing it right now. And you're going to place it right there, right? And that's where it's going to maintain awareness of being, perception. You understand? It is just going to stay right there. And that's the lens in which you're going to operate from. In doing so, what you're doing is you're making the crooked places straight, meaning that any impediment, any hardship, any challenges, circumstances that would deny your desire, it is going to straighten all of that out. The conscious mind does not have to do it, does not know how to do it. Neither does the body. Anything that the body gets involved in doing was not done by the body. It was done by the awareness of being. The body is just being led to do it. Your hands or whatever you're doing are now employed to do what was already done in consciousness. You're just doing a reproduction, a repeat, a replay in the physical body. But do not misconstrue it to think that it is the body or the conscious mind who had figured it out, how to do it. You have an enlightened reasoning that you sent ahead of you. Your imagination, you sent it ahead of you and placed it in that place as a fixed, already done circumstance, okay, or outcome. And all you're doing is going through what, in the physical, what had already happened in the psychological. You're just going through it. You're just following the flow, the milk and honey. You're just following that. That already preceded you. And you're just following the footsteps. Whenever I think I say follow the footsteps of Jesus, that is you sending your consciousness ahead of yourself, sending your savior ahead of yourself. And you're following the footsteps. What footsteps? What was already worked out. The crooked bars that were the crooked places that were straight. The breaking the pieces of gates of brass and cut in sunder, which means to cut in half the bars of iron, meaning anything that was barricading your way out of your circumstances. You're trapped in jail or whatever. Whatever was barricading you will be cut in half. Not by your hands, but by your awareness of being. Okay? Someone, something, the judge, the lawyers, the whomever, the witnesses, they will come and play their part to cut you out. Not physically, but legally. All right? Not break you out of prison illegally, but legally, remove you from your plight. Okay? But you have to employ the services of the law, the Lord, your awareness of being, by imagining not what is going to take place or what has to take place. You cannot figure that part out. Man plan, God wipes out. It's not going to work out the way you plan it. That's why you're told to put yourself at the very end, having the experience. You will not know how you ended up having it. It's not possible for you to know. You may plan a way you think is going to happen, and it almost always never work out that way. Therefore, when something is not going the way you expected it, it's going to cause doubt, fear, chaos, disappointment. And unbeknownst to you, it was working out your appointment. But this is the way it had to go. Okay? You're traveling down the road and you see a sign that says detour. I know you're mad because now you're going to end up at the place late because this is the fastest way. You understand? And you start to kill the dream, the outcome, because you're using your senses to rob your outcome. And it's telling you don't go that way because there was a big accident or whatever the case may be. That was going to hold you up even longer. Go this way and you'll get there fast. But in your ignorance, you're cursing and being mad, and you end up creating more disappointment. Yes, Certi.
Yeah, man, you, Sir Chris, in all that we're doing, you should only have one plan. You should have a plan because plans are magnetic. Plans are magnetic. The plan attracts to it everything that is needed to bring about the evolution of the plan.
God's plan.
Yes, but the only plan you should have is a plan to be at the destination. That's your only plan, is to be at the destination, not how to get there. Not how. You should never have a plan of how to get there. You should never have a plan of how you're going to build your house. Just plan to have your house. You should never have a plan how you, none of that. Because as you say, when things start to go opposite to your plan, you're going to just muddy up the waters now, because now you're going to start have a bad mood, and that just shake down the whole thing. Just know that it's going to be done, and it's beautiful when it's done. How it's going to happen? I have no plans here. It's a crazy man life. To be honest, when we over here try. What we're really doing, is making ourselves three-dimensionally crazy.
Yes.
We're three-dimensionally crazy. You have to. I saw somebody put something on them post that if you're just delusional enough to attempt to do certain things, you would be amazed to see what you can do. If you're just delusional enough to attempt it.
Yes, man. Airplane, train.
All right, good. A madman, man, or if you deal about your metal big old irons in the fly through here and say a madman. That's supposed to happen.
Nope, not supposed to.
Good. Yeah, so you have to become a spiritual three-dimensional madman. When the topic of our lesson today was saying to deny the evidence of the five senses. No, we're not going to confuse them. So we tell you straight up how you deny the evidence of the five senses. It's not the evidence so much that you are denying, because the evidence is right there in front of you. When your five senses show you, say the bucket empty, no water, nothing there. That's what the five senses show you. So it's hard for you to deny the evidence of it. What you're going to deny is the reality of that evidence.
Yes.
Yes, the evidence is here, I see it. But I also know that it is not real. Just like this life that we are here living, all the evidence is telling you that you're here living a life, and you get up every day and you plan your thing and you bring. Yes, everything is telling you that. But you know that's not a reality. That's not real. I hope you know that by now. That's how you have to approach all of the other things. Sure, it is true, but it's not real. Sure, it is true, the bucket empty, but it's not real. Meaning it's not really empty.
Just appearing to be.
It just appears to be. Because now you can look back in another world where you see it full. So now this is how you encourage yourself now. Because you just go back in the other world where I do see the bucket full. I do see the bucket full. Which one of them am I gonna make my reality? And I'll tell you which one to make your reality. The one that is geared towards the desire that you have. That's the one that you accept as your reality. Sure, the other one is there and it is pointing you all the evidence. And yes, it's true, but it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. You're gonna deny the reality. You're not denying the truism because that's science. It's natural. You see it. So you're not denying the truism. You would be a legal madman. So you're not denying the truism of it. You're denying the reality of it. It is true, but it's not real. Sure, it is true that you failed at whatever you were trying to do, but the reality is you're not a failure. See the difference? Sure, it is true that, but the reality, we working with reality. A beautiful facility over here, sir. No, it's a facility that they just sent me, but it's like right down the road from my house, and I've never seen this place. It's beautiful. It must be brand new. Yeah, but yeah, sir, Chris. It's the reality of the that we are denying. We see the evidence and we see it with 5 senses. All our 5 senses bear witness of it.
Yeah.
But we have come this far in this thing where we know it is not real. The reality, it is on the plane of reality that the separation comes in. Yes, I see, but is it real? Yes, when you're on the beach, don't have Negrella, don't have Mantico behind, you see the magician come with him thing with him piece of card and him scissors and him cut the piece of rope. Yes, I see the evidence. I saw that but I hope you know that's not real. Them things where you see the magician perform in front of you is not real. It's true. Yeah, I see it.
All an illusion.
It's all an illusion. Same thing with everything where you see a going in front of you. And listen to me. I'm not only talking about the issues where you have, I'm only talking about the problematic things or the things that seem to be unfriendly to you. And of them, they alone not real. The one them where you did you enjoy and feel so lavish about it. That not real either. If you notice the joy fade away. So I just remember the first day I buy my house. And I sit down park my car and so what my car didn't know at the time too. And I sit down for my car and I look for my house and I felt like I feel like if you ever got heaven yet, that's how heaven must have to feel. I felt so pleased in myself. And
Let
the
it be
moment
on earth
was
as it is in heaven,
yeah,
man.
the moment was true, but it's not real because if it's real, the feeling would last. The feeling doesn't last, it fades away.
And
So
things
if
change, have a carry again.
I mean I have that carry again either. If it was true, if it was real, it would have last. The only thing that is real, how many times have we said this on this show? The only thing that is real is that which never changes. Consciousness. Your consciousness. Everything else changes. If it did really, the beautiful things where you see are going in your life, it not gonna last forever. It's not real, brother. Just enjoy it while it lasts. And the unbeautiful things to create a word that go on like that not real. So you can find a way. When you know something real, you can find a way to enjoy it. When you watch a movie and you see them about to kill the star, and you know still enjoy the movie.
They still are. Yeah. Okay, at the end, the star is still going to be alive.
Yes. It's true, but it's not real. Like if we can ever get that thing in ourselves and wake up every day and realize that in our minds, everything we see going on, so yeah, it might be true, but it's not real. Where you kill up yourself for what's going to real for, brother? Not kill up yourself about life, it's not real. If it's real, if it is real, you notice how many change you've changed. Look, get a picture of yourself when you were a 6-year-old girl and get one when you were 17 and one when you're in your mid late 30s. And get a next picture of yourself right now in your 50s. Are you looking at the same girl? No, you've changed a million times.
Yeah. Daily.
Because your whole thing, because that even your body is not real, that's why I keep changing. If it did really, it wouldn't change. Your consciousness has never changed. Because that is real.
There's a great example, Sir T.
Yeah,
man. Great example.
Anyway, I have to run in for a case here. So guys, until we gather again, be conscious, be present, be alive, and be aware that nothing around you is real. It is we should return to Neil Donald Walsh. He has a tape about the 10 illusions. We should revisit. And one of the first illusion is nothing in my world is real. How many things? None. Nothing in my world is real.
The
So
10
when they have,
illusion.
yeah, man, the 10 illusions.
All right, we'll address that.
All right, peace and love.
All right, peace and love, Sir T. Yes, yes, guys. We're going to close out shortly on that note. Just let me finish up going over some of this the video or the audio in this book. All right. Again, this book is the 5 lessons, but never got it. Okay. And today we did lesson 5, talking about lesson 5, which is to remain faithful to your idea or your desire or your assumption. Okay. Remain faithful to it. And how you remain faithful to it? By denying, our title is Deny the 5 Senses. Okay. Deny your 5 senses and only see, what you are conscious of being. Okay. Deny your 5 senses and only see or only entertain what you are conscious of being, what you are aware of being. What does that mean? If you have a particular idea in this sense with this chapter's title, the idea is to one day, fly to Africa or fly to Europe, for a particular occasion. And you're looking at right now with all of what's going on, we're at war and the economy is bad and gas price high and jobs are laying people off and all these different things. You are not to entertain, mean to bring in from without those things inside your consciousness. Do not crucify them to your consciousness, because what you're going to do is impregnate your consciousness to reproduce your fears or your concerns. And a whole heap of things will happen to reflect your focus or your concerns or what you've crucified to your consciousness. In other words, you will just see more and more of this, even when the war gone and everything stopped, economy is back together, but somehow your life, your existence is still helter skelter. You can't make the trip even when things get back together, which is what you tell yourself. When things get back together, I am going to then go to Europe. And even when things come back together, in your own life, it will not. There will be something going on that will deny your possibility or the possibility to go. And here you are again, set back, saying, okay, we're gonna have to put this off again until whenever time. Well, the best time to really test your faith, as it is saying here, to be faithful or remain faithful, test your faith, is when you see all these things happening, where you do not let it control your perception. I remember when we had the Twin Towers went down in 2001, and I was seeing about buying a house. It was on the day I was supposed to sign the paper that the Twin Towers went down, the very day. And I was supposed to see the guy in the evening, around about 5 hours or 6 o'clock or something like that. I could have easily said, based on my former belief, that one day the world is going to end, which was supposed to be 2000. It was now 2000 and it was now 2001, right? So I could have easily reverted back to my former beliefs that, whoa, I guess they were right. This has never happened. Here we are. And where this come from now? And my mind could have gone all over the place. But yet still I remained steadfast in my assumption that I had 3 years prior that I would buy a house. And I remained faithful to that idea. And lo and behold, despite of all of what was going on, I was able to buy the house. And there were so many different issues. Credit was bad on all these different things. Even during that time, there were certain things I had to do in order to, you know, carry out the outcome. But or that would impede me getting the house, but they still worked out because I did not go off into a some space in my mind with nothing but difficulties and hardship because of what was transpiring. I remained faithful to the idea that I will be in the house in a certain number of months, and that was all I focused on. So this is what we titled, or this is where our title exemplified that: deny the senses. Deny the evidence of your senses. What evidence? Evidence of a bad economy, evidence of a lower paying job, evidence of they're not hiring, evidence of we're at war. All these whatever it is, it is evident, but deny it. You understand? It is true what you see going on, but it is not real. Okay? It can change and will change when you change it. Until then, it will not change. It's not real, so you can't change it. And you're using your consciousness, which never changes, to change what's not real. Okay? You're the one deciding if it stays or not, because it's just an experience that you're having right now. Okay? And so this right here, I'm going to read, and then we're going to close out, is going to reiterate what I just said. That it says, what it says right here, that I will give thee treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord, your consciousness, which call thee by thy name, am God of Israel. Okay? This is Isaiah 45, 1, 2, and 3. It went on to say in verse 7, that I, consciousness, forms the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay? What it is saying here is that your consciousness is what gets you either out of something, which is the light, giving you the visibility, the awareness, the know-how, the the way how it is going to, be figured out. And you are also the one that create the darkness, meaning that the hardship, you're the one that put yourself there in the first place. So the darkness is you in a hardship. Nobody else can put you there but yourself. I don't care how it happened on the outside. These are just whatever is going on the outside are just playing the parts you played on the inside. That's all it's really doing. So you create your own darkness and your own light. There is nobody else that created it. There is no devil that did it. And there's no God out there in the sky that is doing it. Okay? It is you who is doing it. You being consciousness from your lens of perception, okay? From your viewpoint, you're being your own God, so to speak. Okay? You are using your I amness in the way you thought it fit or see it fit. And depending on how you use it will determine the outcome. You will make peace within your own self, or you will create evil. I, not I and the devil, not we or not us. It says, I, the Lord, do all these things. I being consciousness, awareness. The devil cannot create darkness or evil because the devil does not exist. And for anyone who may see this at some point out there, the greatest trick the world has played on they've played on the world is to trick people into believing that the devil exists. That is the greatest trick out there, that the devil exists. And the churches will tell you the opposite, that the greatest trick the devil has played on the world is that he doesn't exist. Okay? So they form it in a different way, that the greatest trick the devil himself has played on the world is that he doesn't exist. And we're saying here on the One Great I Am that the greatest trick that the world has played, that the powers that be have played on the world, is that the devil, exists. They are telling us that the devil exists, saying the same thing as the church. The church is worded differently, that the devil is making us believe that he doesn't exist, which is to say that he does exist. And the powers that be, the people who control the world, are telling us that the devil does exist. You understand? Which is to say that there are two gods, which is to go against their own Bible, which says, I, the Lord, make peace and create evil. I form the light and darkness. I, the Lord, do these things. There is no other God beside me. It tells you in the scripture. I am the God of Israel. Okay? Israel just simply means, to act as God, or to have the embodiment of God. He's not the consciousness is not the God of those who believe that there's another God, that those who believe there's a devil. That's all it is saying right here. I am the God of Israel, the God of only those who knows that I consciousness am the only one. And beside me, there is no other. There is no devil. I cannot be a God of people who believe in that, because that devil does not exist. I'm only a God, or God to the people who knows that their consciousness is the Lord and nothing outside of them. No God in the sky, no devil roaming the earth. They know that their own I amness, their own awareness, is what puts them into circumstances or gets them out of it. There's no other thing that's doing anything but their own consciousness. Okay? And so that's what Isaiah 45 is telling you. Okay? And to believe in anything other than that is to blaspheme, is to deny the Father. What them say? If you deny the Father, then the Father will deny you as well. Not as they would say, something that is going to happen in some judgment day nonsense. It happens daily, eternally, right now. Every day you believe that there's a God beside your own awareness is denying your awareness. And so therefore your awareness will deny you, meaning that it will not work in the way that you think things will work out, because you're looking forward to or towards something other than your own self. And this is how you're going to be you know, mis misconstrue and disappointed, and remain stagnated, remain static, remain in the same place over and over and over for years on end, wondering why you can't come out, because you're waiting for this God that does not exist to come and save you. You have a perfectly able vehicle that can drive, but you're waiting for somebody else to come and pick you up. and you yourself have a license, knows how to drive, but for some crazy reason, you believe only somebody else can come and do it. You know, you don't know how to do it. And all along, you have the power. What's his name? And I'll close it after this. When Dyer tells a story where a man drops his key inside his house in the dark, right? And he looks out the window and he sees the light. And he goes outside looking for the key because there's light outside. Because he can't find the key in the dark. So he goes outside looking for the key in the light. His neighbor come and say, "What are you looking for?" "I'm looking for my keys." I said, "Where you dropped the keys?" "I dropped them inside the house." Neighbor said to him, "So why in heaven's name are you out here looking for the key?" The man replied to him and said, "Because there's light. I can't find the key if I'm not in the light." This is just saying that people have the key within themselves, but they go outside looking for it. You have the light within. Your own light is within. It's not on the outside. You have it within you. But you're conned into believing that because you can see the light out there, because the churches tells you, because the pastor tell you, because all these evangelists go on top of the mountaintop preaching for decades, no, centuries, as a matter of fact, that they have the light. All along, this light is within yourself, within this darkness. It's there. And all you have to do is express it, and it will overwhelm whatever so-called light that is on the outside, because there's no light stronger than it. You understand? Stop looking on the outside for your key. The key is within. You only lost it in forgetfulness. You understand? There's no loss, only forgetfulness. You always had it. You just don't remember that it was with you all along. And even more importantly, that it is you who is this light, not the body, not your voice, not your experience, not your lifestyle. That is not who you are. You are the beginning. You understand? You are the start. You are the spark. You are the awareness of everything that you have experienced. Okay? What you're seeing is just the out picturing, but it's coming from the greater source, which is you yourself. Okay? And besides you, the real you, there is none other. Okay? So again, today's topic: deny the evidence of the senses and see only what you are conscious of being. Entertain only what you're conscious of being. Do not worry about the market. Don't worry about the economy. Don't worry about lack thereof, this and that and the third. Only focus on what you desire, despite everything that's going on. Notice that nothing can stop you from imagining or desiring, no matter what's going on. You can always desire your outcome or what experiences you want to have, despite of what's going on. Nothing stops you. But to entertain the senses, that's what's going to stop you. To look at their bank account, the lack thereof, money, this and the third, is going to stop you. Okay? And in the end, you're the only one who can stop yourself. No one else can. All right. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for being here. And we'll post this video in the chat soon, so you guys can have it for review. But we'll be back here again next week, Sunday, for another great and amazing lesson right here on the One Great I Am Awakening. Enjoy the rest of your day and your week, and we will